Hi, this is Mrs. Cavalier, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a Google site. It's a pretty simple way to make a website, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. So what you would want to do is you would want to open up a Chrome browser, and you'd want to make sure you were logged into your school Google accounts, so your Scoogle, right, which is first name dot last name at northport.k12.ny.us, and then whatever your password is. And then you would go to sites.google.com/new because they have a classic and a new, and we're going to be working in new Google Sites. You would get to this page. If you obviously wouldn't have any projects there yet. What you would want to do is go down to this little button here in the corner that says Create New Site, and you'd click. Okay, so what you would get is a simple Google site. If you wanted to change the theme, you could come over here and you can choose, different ones. It's pretty simple in terms of design, so your creativity, like if you're an uber creative person, maybe you'll feel a little stifled by this, but this is beginner, so we're showing you Google Sites. Now, let's say you wanted to, let's say you've done your research and you want to create pages, because when you write for the web, it's very different from when you're writing an actual research paper. The way you cite is different. The way you set your pages up is different. The way you organize your website is different. So what you would want to do is you'd want to create, first of all, let's create a title. So I'm going to be using as an example obsessive compulsive disorder, okay? And again, you don't have a ton of freedom, but you can certainly, if you want it to look like that, you can. If you want to change the header type, if you want just a title, if you want a banner, if you want a large banner, depending on how you are designing. So that's how you could do that. Let's say you wanted to change the image behind here. You can go here, and you can either upload or select an image. So let's say you wanted to go to this upload page. Well, that's if you have one in your H drive, this is how you would get one. But let's say you just wanted to, go online, you could click select image and you get this page. So they have a gallery that you can choose from, but they also have by URL, search your albums or Google Drive. So if you have stuff saved to your Google Drive that you want to use, you can use that. So I have a URL here. So let's say you were going through Google Images and you found this picture and you wanted it as your background. So let's say that you wanted the URL. You would just right click on the picture. You would go to where it says save copy image address. You'd click that, and then you'd go back to your site. You'd click by URL. And then you'd paste the URL right in there, and they give you the picture. You can click select. Now, that looks a little, see, now they made it so that it's a little more readable. Like if you click that, it's very hard to read, but if you unclick it, now you can see that it's a little, you would obviously not want to choose that picture. You'd want to choose something a little bit better. But again, if that theme didn't work, you could try a different theme. Maybe that looks a little better to you, or whatever you want to choose on here on the side. Okay, so that's how you do a banner. Okay, but now let's say you want to add your pages because your paper or your website is going to be organized. To add pages or different tabs, you would click on the pages. So right now we only have home. If you want to add more, you'd click this button that says Add Page. So let's say we're going to break this down into symptoms. Okay, so now we have, we'll come up, we'll say Home and Symptoms. If you want to add another one, you could do hit Symptoms and then hit Done. Okay, so now we have home and symptoms. If you want to add another page, let's say you said DSM criteria, you'd hit done. So now you see that they're coming up here as different tabs. So home, symptoms, DSM criteria, okay? If you wanted to change the name of this one, let's say you wanted to call it rename page, you could call it overview, maybe, instead of home, okay? And it will change it up there. So now you have overview, symptoms, DSM criteria, you know, so on and so forth. So let's click back on it. So let's say on this page you want to add, you know, some text. You would just click on text box, and then you can add info here. Let's say you wanted to add a YouTube video, okay? If you go over here, let's say you wanted to put this video on your main page, all you would do is you would, like, you found it, and you would click share. You would grab this URL with the Control-C, and then you would go back here, and you would want to add a YouTube video. Google Embeds, you click YouTube, and you'd paste the YouTube video in there. And then you'd hit the search button, and now there's the video you want to use. So you'd click it, and then you'd hit select. And now it adds your YouTube video. And again, you can play around with the where it is located on the page. You can, you know, kind of, you can, if you want, you can, you know, you can change if you want to put an image or a color or, you know, things like that. If you want to change the color, you should be able to. Things like that, however you want. Okay. So let's say you now want to add some of the information you have found. So let's say you go to pages. Let's say you want to go to symptoms. You want to add some symptoms here. And again, if you can change your header, you can make different header types. You want a banner, you know, you like the banner better, you can do that. So let's say you want to add, again, some text. You can add text. So let's say let's say you found this article in the Gale Science and Context database, and you want to use it. You're going to be using this as one of your references. Instead of putting it as works cited or as a references page, what you would do is you would put a hyperlink to this article. Now, because it's a database article, you would want to create perhaps a link to your Google Drive. Since I'm showing you this using our Northport East Northport School information, that means that it's contained in Northport East Northport School, so only people here can see it. So that means that only people here could access, let's say you save this article. So I'm going to show you how to save an article. So if on this database in particular, if you go to download, and then you're already signed into School Google, it says save to Google Drive, you'd hit download, and then it will tell you that it will be in your Google Drive. Okay, so you hit OK. So if you go to your Google Drive, you will now notice that you have a folder called Science in Context. The same thing with Opposing Viewpoints in Context. Any of the Gale databases makes a folder. Some of them you can make a PDF in the other databases, and that I could show you if you come to the library. So if I click in here, now I see that there's a Google Doc called Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. So if I click on here, you'll see it is a Google Doc, so it's you know, editable. But if you want to then make it a shared link, you go to Share, and then you click on Get Shareable Link, and then you'll notice here it says anyone at Northport East Northport Schools with the link can view. You want to leave it on that because, you know, you don't want the whole wide world messing with your doc. So then you'd hit Copy Link, and then you'd hit Done. You would go back to your site. And now, let's say you said according to World of Health, you know, OCD is an anxiety disorder. I'm not going to go crazy, but, you know, you'd start talking about what you found in your research. So let's say now, instead of putting, you know, an actual like MLA or APA citation, you would just want to highlight that, and then you would want to hit Insert Link. So you're going to put a hyperlink in here. If you remember, we grabbed this shareable link, and so we hit Apply. Now, as you can see, that is now a live link to your information. So if we went into preview mode, which you could just do right here, now you'll see that it says, you know, according to World of Health, and if you click on that, it will open up to that document. And you can do that with this or PDFs. If you are getting information from a credible website, all you would do is grab the link of the website, And that is how you would get that, that's how your audience would be able to just link to the website. But for things from databases, you would want to just link it to something in your Drive. Okay, let me just edit here. Okay, so that is how you do that. Again, if you wanted to add an image, you would just click here. And again, let's say you wanted an image again. You could, let's say you liked this image, you could right click, again, do copy image address, go back to your page, paste it in, and hit select. And again, if you wanted to change the size of your picture, if you wanted to add more text over here, I believe you can play around with how you do that. You could play around with a little bit about how you get your information and how you organize it and how you visually. I think that will come with just playing around. Again, you can add calendar, maps. You can actually add Google Docs. You can make a slide show. Let's say you wanted to add a little show. You can add that here. Let's say you wanted to add, maybe a questionnaire. You can add a questionnaire. You can create charts. You could do all of these things in terms of what you have in your Google Docs and your Google Drive. Okay? So really, that is it. And just as an aside, when you're making a website, you want to make it readable for a web reader. You want to make sure that you do include multimedia. You want to add things like videos, like embedded content, like pictures. Because if you look at a website, those are the things that generally people like to read and see. You want to make sure you have, a good text to visual ratio, and you want to make it friendly for your reader, which is a little different than when you write an actual research paper. So you're still doing all of that work. Your tone, your voice may still be academic, but it may take on a little bit of a different tone for a web reader. Those are some of the things you want to think about. So thank you very much for watching my video. And if you ever have any questions, you know where to find me, in the library where I live. Okay, this is Mrs. Cavalier signing off. Have a great day.